Yeah.
And that's oh my God.
Right.
That's right. Stop.
I know that's his wife. I've seen her before.
I know, but you care.
She's got a lot. Oh, yeah. She's got the huge hair.
The kid has huge hair.
Does she? Yeah.
This beautiful couple become man and wife. So my father has a few short words to say. We're going to
I'm going to talk before
You get to talk first,
because I love you.
Well,
just like Dad.
I was told that.
Oh my God, he's got
I have to bring notes, okay? Because they wouldn't let me go extemporaneous because they knew it would be 20 or 25 minutes.
Good job, Donald.
Half an hour or 45, whatever. So I'd wrote a few things down just for notes. I said I'd only tell one story, okay? But the first thing I want to do is I want to thank God for my marriage, for everything, all the blessings that I've gotten over the years. It's been tremendous. I want to thank my children for this gathering because they put it together and they did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Because they leave room for pauses.
And I want to thank my lovely wife Jane for 45 years, 47 years really, the best times of my life.
You're welcome.
So anyway, the little story I have needs a little bit of a preface. I was asked earlier today when somebody saw a picture, Brad actually saw a picture and said, "How old was Jane when you got married, like 12? I said, no, she was 12 going on 13. That's not really true, but she was 18. We both got married the year we graduated. Her from high school, me from college. And when I said 12 back to Brad, the one thing was at the time when I met Jane, she'd been out of this county probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. That was to go to a reunion over in Ohio, okay? She hadn't seen any of this great country other than pretty much right here. And because she had this wonderful family that was backing her up, and it was hard to take 16 people in a station wagon, okay? That was a difficult thing to do. But anyway, so we got married. It was in August. I was working down at Greenfield Square, down in Hannah Creighton area of town. She was working at St. Anne's Nursing Home. I was supposed to have a job with Magnavox right after we got out of college, but there wasn't any jobs to be had. I was putting papers out all over the place trying to get a job. Finally got a job down at Ball Corporation in Muncie, Indiana. Got down there in January, started working, and at that time we were doing I was in an R&D group. We were doing a lot of jobs outside of town, so we'd have to travel outside of town. And one of the places we went was to Mundelein, Illinois. Ball Corporation had a glass factory in Mundelein, Illinois, which is north of Chicago, about 60 miles. The only way you can get to Mundelein from Fort Wayne is to go through Chicago, okay? So anyway, we're there for basically 2 weeks, and that's what the trip's planned. We're going to be there for 2 weeks, and we'd been married at that time. This was in May, so we'd been married not quite a year yet. Jane says, on Friday, she tells me, "I'm coming up to Mundelein." I said, "You know you have to go through Chicago?" "Yeah, well, it's just a town, right?" I said, "Well, yeah, but it's like more cars than you've ever seen in your life going through Chicago, okay? And they aren't always moving." but anyway, she wrote down what the directions were on how to get there, and she had to really love me to drive them. Let me tell you. And I got there. I got back out of work around 6 o'clock that night. Came to the motel room. There she was. She was there for the weekend.
Good for you, Jay.
The only thing she told me was she did stop in Plymouth, Indiana, at a gas station there, and asked the guy, "How far is it to Chicago from here?" But that's a little story that I don't think anybody here has ever really heard before. But I wanted to let everybody know that. Once again, I wanted to say that I married in. I came from a wonderful family. I married into an absolutely wonderful family. Richard, my mother and father-in-law were like another mother and father to me. They were the greatest people that a person could ever want to have for in-laws. And all the brothers and sisters have been the best people to be around and be associated with for the 45 years that I've been married, and it was once again a real blessing. The one thing I didn't say was 9 months after that, guess who was born? He was sitting over here. I don't know where.
No, he's over there. He's over there.
After the whole,
They can see their first one in St. Thomas. You can see our first one in Dandelion, Illinois.
Thank you, Molly.
But so we ended up having 5 children, 5 great children. They married 5 great spouses. So now I have 5 sons and 5 daughters. And that's the way I feel. 10 blessings right there. And out of those 10 blessings came 13 other blessings for grandkids. And that's when I talk about the 25. That's the 25. Jane and I, the 10 kids, the 13 grandkids, that's the 25. Unconditional love to those 25 all the time. I've always tried to keep my promises, and I can tell you this promise that I made 45 years ago, I'm still keeping that. Okay, and that's always going to happen. The last thing I want to say was I've been reading an author recently that he's got a guy that he always talks with, and they talk in song talk a lot. And song talk is where when you're talking, you bring in the words of a song. And all I can say is that my song talk to Jane would be, it's no accident me loving you. Someone had a hand in it long before we ever knew. I tip my hat to the keeper of the storm, the keeper of the stars. He sure knew what he was doing when he joined these two up.
Red card doesn't work. So I'm not sure what's left.
Just say yellow card from now on and I'll shut up.
Right. Okay. I tried the yellow card.
Because I don't want to get the red card.
Got it. So I just want to thank you all for coming today. You know, it means so much to my brothers and my sisters and myself and my parents that you were here to support them not only today, but, you know, through these last 45 years. You know, from today, I'm not sure if either one of them knew on that day that they were making promises to one another. But I believe that through God, that you were all, making promises to them as well, to support them. Be it through helping us set up this tent today, through helping feed us through the years, through your planting, through your gardening, through your love, through your prayers, these last 10 years. But I think that they made promises to each other that at that time, as an 18 and 22-year-old, seemed maybe not as difficult as we all know as we've married and raised children through the years. So 9 months later, and 2 years later, and 5, 6, and 7 years later, being blessed with 5 children, and 5 years after that, having holes kicked into your drywall.
She'll get it back.
Teaching us lessons the way that they have. Having a son have to walk to Target to one of his jobs because he was in trouble and couldn't drive the car. The way that they taught us. And then there were the 3 easy ones. Thanks, Paul. Yeah.
Once they got the perfect one, they stopped.
He paves the way. It was easy after that.
I think they probably watched and seen what didn't work.
They learned a little bit not to sneak out at 3 a.m. and set your alarm. Something I told, being the daddy's girl that I am. I told my father something on my wedding day that I'm not sure I've ever told my mother. That if I could have the marriage just half as good as what they have shown me to have, to raise their children half as well as what they have done, I know that I will be successful. To have a mother that I'm not sure when I was 13, 14, 15, 16 years old that I thought didn't know anything and I would try to pit my father against her. He did not bite. Thank you, Uncle Matt. because they have the greatest family, Myers and Richardson, that could ever be, to have reinforcements. To come in
when spark plugs off of a car, she couldn't leave
When
out.
Dad
was in
to
Washington.
come in when they're out of town, because you guys did that. Like I said, whether it was here today, set up this tent, whether it was 20 years ago, to be there for me, kicking that hole in the wall. To help support, a man in our family as they've transitioned into a new, fantastic job, and to support all of us. I don't think we could have done it with only the 7 of us. And then, of course, like Dad said, it grew. We all married fantastic spouses. We had beautiful children.
Who are you married to?
As her grandpa. She did. Yeah, eventually.
Good times and then bad. Right? So, 45 years ago, the Catholic vows, the Christian vows, I don't believe have changed. So whether they seemed easier or harder at that time, in good times, and in bad, in health, in sickness, for richer, for poorer, for richer. Okay. But really, the biggest, in health and sickness, I appreciate whether it's been a text to me that you've sent saying, thank you for keeping us informed. We love you. We love your dad. We love your mom. I appreciate everything, every single one of you. I could name every single one of you for doing things for us. They've touched our hearts deeply. So, thank you. And, so, here's to our fantastic, beautiful, loving, richer, poor, sickness, health parents that I could never I'm so blessed to be a loving daughter of. And in those difficult times, I forgot during that time, my mother, when I was trying to put them against each other, my father always sticking up for her, shows me what should happen. And her, doesn't matter, being non-college educated, she is the most brilliant woman that I have ever met. She has taught me so much more than anyone else that I could ever have met. So, I'm blessed with both of them. Daddy's girl. And now my friend, my mother. So thank you, and here to 45 more.
Cheers.
That leaves you in the middle again. I'm okay with that. She's still the favorite.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Again, as my sister and dad said, I appreciate it very much. There is a ton that I've learned from so many people that are here, and especially from my mom and dad. Just fantastic people who we could always count on, and knew that they would. They had really our best interests at heart, no matter what they were doing, if we liked it or not. People, lots of young. I get to talk to a lot of young people that come into the office now, and they ask me what the secrets of success are, and there's the typical things of hard work, keeping your nose clean, doing the things right. But I always tell each and every one of them something that I learned from my mother as well, which just can't be how to express it. But she had a way, no matter how angry you got with her for not letting you do something that you wanted, she could just look at you and smile. And I couldn't help, no matter how mad I was, I couldn't help but smile back, because I knew that the reason that she was doing whatever it was, or I wasn't getting something that I wanted, was because she loved me so very much. And I couldn't imagine not having that. I feel so bad for the people who don't get to experience those things, that true, genuine love, that sometimes when it's so hard to tell your kids no, when it's so hard to do the right thing, that she did that they would do that, and be able to look at us and smile. That is something I hope that I learn to do as well, because it's easy to get frustrated in life sometimes and not want to do the right things, take the easy way out with your kids especially. I have a habit of doing that, stopping for candy or something, but the kids, it's easy, and wanting to give them the right things, wanting to give your kids the best of everything. Sometimes all the time. Your love is what really is the most important, and that's something that definitely got from our parents every single day. And I want to thank you very much for all of the blessings that you have given us and for doing the hard things because you love us so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
It's okay. It's easy since I'm the favorite. Oh, I didn't say the favorite. The perfect one. Right. Yeah, that was it. Something like that. Thank you, Mom and Dad. You both have showed us that marriage was never going to be easy, but that love is a choice, and that you have to choose to love your spouse every day. And you always, no matter what, no matter how bad of a day it was, one of the worst days I remember as a child was in the summer, and the three easy ones were home. One of these easy ones must have put some toast in the toaster and didn't claim it. Okay? Didn't eat it. Yeah. That must not have ever happened at the Richardson house. Food didn't go to waste. Okay? Must never have happened that somebody put toast in the toaster and then didn't eat it. But it happened at our house, and nobody claimed it. So we were out. Get out. The three of us. Get out of the house. I think I was 6. I don't know. I could have been older. But so 6, 7, 8-year-olds, Luke got on his bike. He was the smart one. And Molly and I decide that we should probably just, luckily Dad didn't work so far away at that time, just at Shamball on, I don't know, still the same place. Yeah, Cook Road. So we took off and went to get Dad. Surely he'd save us, right? Surely he'd save us, and he did. We showed up at Dad's office. Dad threw Luke's bike in the back of the car and drove us home. Still nobody claims the toast. But even in those times, like Heather said, Paul said, they still loved us, and they were trying to teach us something. Every day, they were trying to teach us something, and we appreciate that. And all of us have gone through hard times in our marriages, and we have had the best example that I know of, that we choose to love. Some days it's hard, Heather, isn't it? Some days it's hard.
All right, I get it.
But we do. I don't know what you're talking about. And that's because of their example. So thank you, love you, and cheers. Cheers.
A hug for both of us, but real short. Okay. The biggest thing that, exactly, everyone has reiterated, and I've heard from several of my aunts and uncles, and they would ask Mom and Dad growing up, what makes your kids so successful? Or how did you raise your kids and they turn out right, they have manners, they are polite, I think that's what they said, right? Uncle Ben, what did you do? How did you do to raise your kids so well?
I think it was Uncle Ben.
At least to your face.
I think Lydia said that too, something like that.
I paid it.
She might have. But it's one of those things that I truly believe even to this day is that unconditional love. And not only that unconditional love for us, but they had it for their family members. I see that in all of my aunts and uncles. I tell everyone that yes, we have the most amazing, fabulous family. And I see that in each and every one of you. Just for you guys coming out today to celebrate with us for our parents and their unconditional love for each other. And that means so much to each and every one of us. And I'm not telling any stories of the yardsticks or anything. So
That's what
I think that might have had something to do with it too. That discipline and everything. Because I
I really do believe that that's kind of part of it as well. And, but besides that, I would like to reiterate what Heather said. If I could do half of what my mom and dad did as far as raising their kids and showing them their love for one another, everyone would have a successful marriage, and that means a lot. So thanks everyone again so much for coming out. We so appreciate it and love every one of you so much.
When Luke said, the first words he ever said, and that was the toast is burnt. You talked. Luke, you talked. Why didn't you talk before this? Everything's been great, Sylvia.
His sisters did all the talking for him. Older one and younger one.
You don't get very many opportunities to tell your parents how great of a job they've done. 5 kids. I mean, all of them turned out pretty well, and it's all because of you two and the support group that you guys have had. Yeah, Dad had an iron fist, and I didn't see the smile on his face when it was coming down on you, but yeah.
Your mom had an open hand.
Right.
I remember my mom talking about Aunt Jane would hit you, and just, it would make you turn Jane.
See, we heard the same thing about Aunt Marita.
So this is Luke's story. Right.
But I think a lot of that iron fist is carried on and carried on through our family, and I think that's one of the good examples of how we've turned out. I think he wanted us to get better and better every time, every day, and I think that it's been handed down, and I try to instill the same thing in my family now. It's not about just being ho-hum, it's about getting better and learning from your mistakes, and they taught us that real well growing up. So I'm very grateful to have 2 beautiful people, parents, growing up, and to have grandparents as great as you guys are. So thank you very much from Shannon and I, and from our family, that all the stuff you guys instilled in us. Love you.
All right.
I've learned a lot through my years. I probably wouldn't have been as tough on them, but I knew I wasn't their friend when they were growing up. I was a parent, and I didn't, not that being a friend isn't good, but sometimes, you gotta use that open hand or that yardstick. And I felt it. Probably would have changed a lot of things if I was doing it today, but boy, do I love this family, every one of them. Thank you.
I think you've done awesome.
All right.
Not entirely of their bridged chapel wedding cake, but a beautiful replica of their cake. And so we're going to cut that next, and we have a fantastic smorgasbord of desserts for you all to enjoy after that. So thank you.
We don't smell all of you.